Hey, my name is Dr. Gray, and I've been practicing chiropractic and physical therapy for 25 years. And what we're going to talk about today will give you some ideas that are real world. In other words, I'm not going to tell you tips that you can do on the ground when you're not going to get on the ground at work. These are going to be things you can do quick and easy. And we split it up into three categories. Number one is if you use your hands a lot, things to do for the wrist, carpal tunnel type stuff. Painful hands, wrists, forearms, elbows. The next thing we're going to talk about is if you sit a lot, okay, what you can do for that. And then the next thing we'll talk about after that is if you use your back a lot. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first one is if you use your hands a lot. The best thing by far, and it's easy to do because the reality is you can think about these at home, but the truth of the matter is if we're both being honest with each other, it's after you've worked for a little bit and then you start to feel that fatigue set in. That's when you're going to become aware of it. That's when you're going to become more motivated to do something. And also, you just need to relieve it a little bit so you can work more efficiently. These are things that you can do today when that happens that only last about a minute or two, and you'll feel tons better. So, the first thing you want to do is just kind of warm that area up. Okay, we're going to take the wrist, for example. We're going to take a small weight. You can take a small weight to work with you. If you don't have that, you can even use a can of soup. And just whatever you can do 15 times. And we're going to do extensions like this with the wrist. We're going to turn and we're going to flex like this with the wrist. And then we're going to flex like this. And then you're going to come out behind you and extend that way. So all four motions 15 times. And then you're simply going to stretch your hands like this. Stretch your flexors in the forearm. That's for things like golfer's elbow, and then you're going to stretch this way, or you can stretch it this way if that's more easy for you, and that'll help with things like what people identify as tennis elbow a little bit. And the last thing I want to show you is a simple muscle technique. You're going to come in here with your finger, grab your arm. You have two insertion sites, one here on the side of the arm and one here on the inside of the arm. These are your extensors. And you're just going to run your finger up while you run your hand down. And you're just going to slide up there. Use a little lotion if you got some at your desk. And you do that about 3 times in each spot, and you'll notice a big relief in that tension that you're getting in that area. And you can do the same thing on the inside. Okay? So that's your hands and your forearms and elbows. Quick, didn't take very long. You do those and warm them up, and you stay consistent with it. These things are consistency. You do it consistency, you'll start stopping those micro tears that are causing that inflammation in there. That'll make that tissue healthier for you. Okay, let's go on to the next. Sit a lot. The bottom line about sitting is you just got to look for where everything's short. So if we have our friend here and he's sitting, the angles are going to be between here and here. They're going to be shorter. The angles on the back of the leg, you notice how those the feet come closer to the butt, so that's shorter compared to standing. So those will need stretched. And also this area here tends to come forward as well. Okay, and these shoulders tend to right forward. So those 3 areas are what we're going to focus on. Also, in the bottom of the feet, if you notice that there, these guys here usually are up. So this front of the leg will be tighter as well. So we're going to break to our other room now because you're going to need to see the lower body for a lot of these stretches.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Montana here, Dr. Gray's assistant. I'm going to go over some of the exercises he had mentioned in the video for sitting. So first, we're going to start with the hamstring stretch that he had mentioned. You're going to position yourself standing upright, nice and tall, hands on the hips, keeping the chest up high, back straight. We're going to hinge from the hip. You're going to press down into your hamstrings, making sure to keep that back nice and straight. And you're just going to sit into a position where you have tension in the hamstrings. You don't want to press past that position, and you're going to hold that for about 20 seconds. If you have difficulty standing while doing this, you can use a wall, like right here. Put both hands on the wall. And again, same motion. You're just going to extend back into the hamstrings, pushing down, pushing your butt back, keeping the torso up nice and high, and keeping your shoulders down. Pushing back here. Again, you can hold onto the wall, or alternatively, you can even use a chair like this guy here. So grab this, you put both hands firmly on the back of the chair, get yourself in a good position. You want to make sure that you set your feet first. You don't want to be shuffling the feet while you're trying to extend. Make sure you set your feet a reasonable distance so you can kind of hinge first to get an idea of where to place your feet. And again, we're going to sit back into that hamstring stretch, and you can hold that for about 20 seconds. Now, the next stretches that Dr. Gray mentioned were stretches for the neck for sitting. So if your posture is a little bit more forward and you're sitting in deflection all the time, aka your chin's kind of pointing towards your chest, you're looking down like you work on a laptop, or maybe you work in a shared workspace, this next stretch will be good for that. We're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to go into extension. So you're going to go hands behind your head, driving the elbows back and looking up and back. So you're going to extend through the thoracic spine, through your upper back, keeping the shoulder blades pinned together, elbows drive back, and you're going to drive the chin up and stretch through the neck and the upper back. And again, we'll hold this for about 20 seconds. And the next one would be for you guys that sit in extension all the time. So maybe you have a couple monitors that are posted up a little bit higher, or maybe you're looking directly in front of you and you get a little tension in the back of the neck. We're going to do a flexion exercise. So what that means is we're going to go chin to chest. So we're going to be going head tilted forward. So we're going to go hands behind the head, leaning the chin down while using the arms as kind of a counterweight to stretch the neck. But the most important thing with this exercise is that we're not pulling on the head. You're using the elbows as a counterweight to assist you during the stretch, but you're not pulling. So you don't want to be yanking down on the head. You want to be hands just rested on the head and gently going chin to chest. And again, we'll hold this for about 20 seconds. And the last one that Dr. Gray had mentioned was stretches for the upper back. I'm going to go over two stretches for you. So the one that we covered earlier, the extension stretch, that is a good stretch for the upper back as well as the neck. So you can use that one. You can also use this neck stretch, which you can do in your office or kind of around your house if you work from home. It's going to be a door pec stretch. So you can get a doorway or, a good like solid cabinet surface or a wall, anything that you can step past. We're going to go hand on the wall, elbow on the wall, leg close to the wall, and the leg that's closest to the wall, you're going to step through. So we're going to stretch through right here, through the shoulder, through the chest. Sometimes the chest gets a little tight if you're sitting in like kind of a rounded over position, or if you're sitting in too much of an extension. And the next one will be a wall V stretch. So similar to the extension, but this is going to focus more on the upper thoracic area, upper back. You're going to go here, same position as the extension. You go hands behind your hand, or hands behind your head, elbows up, driving the elbows up and back while pushing your sternum towards the wall. So I'll go from the side here so you guys can see that a little bit better. And watch out for this cord. And you go here, elbows against the wall, driving the elbows up while pushing the sternum towards the wall. And you'll go in extension, and you'll hold this for about 20 seconds as well.
Okay, and our third one is if you use your back a lot. Now, some of these will overflow with when you sit, okay? And this is something you can do really quick. We're just going to go through 4 stretches if you use your back a lot. One we're going to do is we're going to do a calf stretch. And you're simply going to get against a wall, and we'll go and show you this now.
Right here, you go knee forward, and you're going to keep your back heel down while driving the left knee forward. So you're going to keep this knee locked out with the heel down, driving that knee forward, and we're going to put all that pressure right here through your calf muscle. So again, driving the knee forward, stretching through that calf.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a quad stretch. That's just in the front of the leg. Remember, these areas are tighter, and we're going to kind of mix it with a hip flexor stretch or something that the muscles that come across the body that want to tilt us in. Okay, so after the quad exercises, the next thing we do is the hamstring warm up, and then our low back warm up and hamstring warm up, and then we're going to do a stretch on it. Okay, so this is how you do the warm up.
So you're here, extending the leg out, and then back down, extending the leg out, and back down, and then you'll alternate sides.
And after you warmed up, then you're simply going to stand with your feet together, and you're going to do with your bum out, shoulders back. You don't want to bend at the back, especially if your back's been hurting you. We won't round it out. We're just going to sit on those heels and let the shoulders come down. Now, when I come down, you notice that my shoulders aren't rounding out. They're not coming like this. The chest stays out high and the bum just sits out, and you just let that stretch on those hamstrings. Hold all your stretches for 20 seconds or more, and begin stop if there's any pain. I hope this helps. There's those quick, easy things for you to do. If you have any questions, give us a call. Or if you have something else that's bothering you that you're not quite able to get over, give us a call at 208-854-0600. Until next week, this is Dr. Gray wishing you a great week.